Jody.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. We're twins.
I love it. Well, it's always stripes are always in order. That's great.
Absolutely. Just for
So,
you.
welcome, Jody. Welcome to Say
Thanks.
Craft.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is just our little chat with some of our favorite people on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And since you live right up the road, I just
Yeah.
thought, stay local. Why not? And since we really can't see each other right now, I thought this would be a good way to kind of just do a quick check-in with you.
Well, yeah, I know. I miss you guys. I miss
I know.
your face and
I
just
know, me
drinking
too.
wine. Do you have your coffee?
Exactly. Cheers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jody Rice is, I would say, one of my favorite people. And I actually met Jody through a Craigslist ad, right? I mean, come on,
Very
that's how we
true.
met.
Yep.
When I moved to Los Angeles 15 years ago, I placed a Craigslist ad looking for just someone to help me, a sample maker, a stitcher, a sewer. And Jody answered the ad and came over to the little bungalow in Hollywood. And I don't know, 15 years later, 6 books later, I mean, did we work on 6 books, 6 or 7 books together?
Yeah.
And Jody just came in and kind of created this whole new world for me and opened up my eyes to so many different techniques and materials and just items that I hadn't even really been exposed to. So thank you. Thank you for
Oh.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. It was so serendipitous, It was like I was just this broke student going to film school, and the only marketable skills that I had were crafting, which was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Right. I remember. Yeah.
But, it was like you totally opened my eyes to the idea that, that you can make a career out of showing people, all these new crafts and
Right.
the joys of making stuff by hand and stuff that had
Right.
brought both of us so much joy over the years.
Yeah. Right.
And then it was like, oh my God, we can turn this into a whole
A
thing, like
business. Yeah.
turning other
Totally.
people on to all these kind of crafts that have been forgotten over the years. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
So Jody saw a niche in the market, right? So after working with us for many, many years, day in, day out, Jody came to me and said, okay, I have this idea and I'm going to do it. And I was like, maybe it'll work. And you
Yeah,
were
it
like,
was
really?
like cross stitch, Kaari.
Right.
Cross stitch is this big
Right.
underserved, market, and you were
Right.
like, cross stitch, what?
Yeah. And it really threw me because I was like, first of all, I can't see that well. So I can't do cross stitch. I
Yeah.
cannot count, tiny little things. And I just didn't think I had the patience.
Right.
So you started designing cross stitch designs. I would say, and this is just my interpretation, but heavily influenced maybe by Mary Blair.
Yeah, very much.
Just your color sense and your kind of, when you started doing Pretty Little Cities, your concept of architecture and just how it all kind of collided and came together. It really reminded me of It's a Small World.
Yeah.
Which is the Disney ride at Disneyland that Mary Blair contributed heavily to.
Right.
And so what happened? So you started designing these little cross stitch kits, and what happened next?
It was like totally unexpected. I thought, I really never thought I was going to turn it into a full-time job. At the time, I was still working in the film industry and still trying to kind of make a career doing that, but I was really burnt out on it. And I just thought, well, I'll do this in between movie projects. And then it just exploded. And a big part of the sort of organic growth of it was Instagram.
Totally.
It was the very beginning of Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was able to get my work out in front of people who were interested in it.
Right.
And that just contributed to this really fast growth. And, within a year, I was pretty much just doing that full time.
Right. Right. So you found your people found you, or you found your people through this visual tool through
Yeah.
Instagram, and people started going to your Etsy shop, Satsuma Street,
Yeah.
and they could buy a pattern, right? Just a
Right.
pattern.
Yeah, it started out, I was just doing digital patterns.
Right.
And I still do them, and that's still probably the biggest part of my business is still digital downloads.
Right.
And the great thing about cross stitch is that the materials are really easy to find. You can get, you know, embroidery floss and Aida fabric and that kind of thing at pretty much any big craft store.
Right.
These days, the last couple of months, it's been a
Right.
little more difficult for people to find stuff.
Right.
So luckily, a few years ago, I started also doing full kits of some of my designs,
Right.
especially things that had more specialty materials in them. And I'm really glad I did, because the last month kits have just flown off the shelves because people can't get out, you know, and they can't go to Michael's, they can't go to Joann's or whatever. And so it's been really nice to be able to have something in stock that I can immediately send people so they can work on something. Because I don't know about you, I get the feeling that you are also seeing this big interest in kits right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And people are just looking for something to occupy themselves, and sort of something calming and something, you know, just positive that they can work on.
Right.
To sort of distract from all of the crazy, you know, scary stuff that's happening out there.
Exactly. And what's your tagline on your Etsy street? It's like stitching for a happy world. Or something?
Cross stitching for a happy world.
Exactly, which is so great. And your colors and your designs, and I think everything really lends itself towards feeling good.
Yeah.
Which is great, which is really necessary and needed right now.
Totally. So that reminds me, I actually did a free pattern for people.
Oh, great.
To sort of encourage people to feel okay and feel positive about staying home.
Okay.
So it's it's backwards, obviously.
Right.
But it says, "Let's stay home."
Oh, that's great.
And it's just this cute little house, and there's a little kitty cat in the corner.
Oh, that's really sweet. I love it. And you did it on like a pink, is that pink? What is the fabric?
It's a linen. This is from
it's linen.
Weeks Dye Works, which is one of my favorite fabric suppliers. And I just thought this would look really fun on pink. But people have been making this like crazy and doing it on kind of whatever they have around, and that's been really cool, and swapping out colors with whatever they've got in their stash. And people have been adding little like you know, COVID stay at home 2020 like kind of
marking it their own way.
So that was really cool to kind of see that. So that,
and how do people get that free pattern, that free download?
If you go to my Instagram profile, there's a link, and then there's like a link tree, and it's the Let's Stay Home link to my blog post.
And is it okay if we put it on our site too, just so people can find it easily? We try to list all of the episodes we do, and then anything relevant that we talk about, we try to put a link there so that people can follow that road and find you again.
Cool. And then if that's not your style, it's not for everybody, it's a little bit kind of bright. If you go to the hashtag Be Well and Stitch, there's a bunch of designers are doing free patterns.
Perfect.
To kind of, and a lot of them are along the same theme of like, you know, sort of trying to create a positive feeling about, you know, what's kind of a scary time. So go to that hashtag. There's dozens of designers have offered free designs.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Okay, I wrote that down. I've got to check that out. So how have you found during this time anything's changed for you? Has your daily practice changed, or I know you have a home studio, so is it much different? Are you finding it to be, have you changed your work or have you had to change anything you do, or are you kind of operating as usual?
It's funny. It shouldn't be that different,
Mm,
because I already worked from home, as did my
right.
husband. Josh started working for Satsuma full time last year.
That's right.
So we were kind of already in the mode of staying home and working from home.
Right.
But it's been really hard for me, actually. I've found that it's been really difficult to sit down and focus on
Yeah.
creative work,
Uh-huh.
I find I'm just really distracted really easily,
Right.
and
Right.
it's been a little bit of a struggle. And so the first few weeks of
Hmm.
the stay-at-home order, I couldn't focus, and I just found myself, all I wanted to do was stitch stuff, but
Yeah.
I couldn't sit down and design, because for me, I need, several hours of like you know, uninterrupted, really focused time.
Right. Right.
So I finally, in the last couple of weeks, have been able to like create more of a structure for myself. And
Right.
I had to say, like, I'm only checking the news once a day,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and not first thing in the morning and not right before bed.
Right.
Um, and I just, I got to like turn off all my devices and just set
Right.
a deadline for myself of like, by this date this week, I'm going to have these things done. And I just have had to kind of get really tough with myself,
Yeah.
because,
Right.
me, usually I'm like, I can just create on demand. Like, it's like,
Right. Right.
you used to come to me and say, like, Jody, we need a quilting
Yeah.
project by the
Right.
end of the week.
Right. Right. By the
You
end of the
got it.
day. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
on it, and I would have it
Exactly.
done.
Yeah.
But so, it's been a little jarring for not
Definitely.
feel like I'm able to just jump right in and do that work. But I think it's coming back now. I think
Mm.
I'm starting to kind of relax a little bit,
Right. Right. Yeah.
and just kind of tune out the world
Mm.
and focus on design. So,
Yeah.
and
I
it
think.
helps that it
Yeah.
makes people so happy. So happy, when I do
Totally.
put out something, like,
Yeah.
that I get those positive vibes
Right.
back to me, and that like helps feed that
Feeds you.
creative vibe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking that yesterday, that having a schedule during this time, I don't think any of us thought of that maybe.
I would have had it
Exactly.
done.
Yeah.
But so, it's been a little jarring for not
Definitely.
feel like I'm able to just jump right in and do that work. But I think it's coming back now. I think
Mm.
I'm starting to kind of relax a little bit,
Right. Right. Yeah.
and just kind of tune out the world
Mm.
and focus on design. So,
Yeah.
and
I
it
think.
helps that it
Yeah.
makes people so happy. So happy, when I do
Totally.
put out something, like,
Yeah.
that I get those positive vibes
Right.
back to me, and that like helps feed that
Feeds you.
creative vibe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking that yesterday, that having a schedule during this time, I don't think any of us thought of that maybe the first month. The first couple weeks, we were all just kind of flying out there, hitting the refrigerator, hitting the television, hitting our bed, bottle of wine,
Yeah.
whatever it was. And then I think it finally struck me, oh, this may be a while, and therefore structure, I have to have some structure, and
Yeah.
having a schedule, like getting up, maybe doing the news for 15 minutes, and then having my coffee, and then doing my emails, and then sitting down and starting to stitch or create. Or I think that's so important, because otherwise it is hard. It is hard to focus, and really so many things are coming at us, even though we're just at home,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of different elements. And I know you live with cats, and so we've all got, or many of us have animals, and so they're probably like, what are you doing home all day? You're
Yeah.
not supposed to be here.
Ours are thrilled that we're so available. But,
Right, right.
yeah, I've been really thinking about you, especially during this time, because you, out of anyone I know, really like thrive on social connections and
Right, right.
seeing people and throwing parties and traveling and doing workshops.
I
And
know, I
it must
know,
be such a different thing for you right
I
now.
know. I mean, I'm trying to just lean into it and say, this is good for me. You know, this
Yeah,
kind of stepping back and just kind of focusing on fewer things. Because I tend to just like take it all in, you know, let's do it
right,
all, let's do it all. And I don't want to miss out on anything. But
right.
I think now I'm just trying to really slow it down and enjoy, you know, just the day to day of nothingness and being with Sophia and John full
Yeah,
time, which I
yeah,
just have to keep saying that's a blessing.
right.
You know, that's a good thing. We'll never have this time again.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you know, but you know, we recently sold our home. And
yeah,
so besides the fact that we are sheltered at home, we're in like a completely new home.
right. And
So
it's a
it,
temporary home,
it's a
right?
temporary
It's
home. It's
not
a
really
right. It's a
that.
friend's home.
Yeah,
So we didn't come with all of our things. We just came as is with, you know, a little overnight bag thinking we'd be here a couple weeks.
yeah,
And then when the shelter at home happened, we realized, oh, we're going to be here a while.
yeah.
So, you know, we're your neighbors now. We're just down the road in Studio City.
I
So,
know, and it kills me that
right?
you're 5 minutes away and we
I
can't
know.
just
I
go
know.
get a drink and
I
hang out.
know. I know. We will. We will.
Yes,
Sooner or
absolutely.
later, we will. We will.
Absolutely.
Or we'll meet in the when they open the parks or something. We'll social distance in a
Yeah.
park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree that it's been the positive, I think, is that it's really changed my perspective about what I take for granted and
Hmm.
what the things that I feel like, why wasn't I traveling more? Why wasn't I getting out more? And, like friends would invite me over and I'd be like, no, I don't have time. I can't do it. And
Right.
now it's like, oh man, like
Right.
I
I
miss
know.
that. And
I know.
I can't believe I didn't take those opportunities when I could. So
Right.
I definitely think there are blessings to be found in this crazy
Definitely. I
time.
agree. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Well,
So,
I've loved doing this quick check-in with
oh,
you, and
yes.
I want to remind everybody of your Etsy shop, which is called Satsuma Street,
Yep.
which is hands down, the best cross stitch patterns and designs ever, I think. And hopefully, we'll see you soon. And I really thank you for joining us today, Jody.
Well, thank you. I love you guys and miss you. And I can't
Miss
wait
you too.
until we can get the whole Ming clan together.
Right?
And
We
so
will.